You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We got a lot to cover, a lot to talk about. Zelensky has tipped his hand. A story just broke with Zelensky, and this is insane, Zelensky. Listen to this. This is in Breitbart. Ukrainian President Zelensky admitted that he is afraid of a return of Donald Trump to the White House in 2024 before begging for more American-made Patriot missiles. Okay. Donald Trump said he's going to end the war in a month. He's got a way to do it. Why would Zelensky be afraid of that?
Exactly.
Unless he wants the war to continue so the money can keep pouring in to his Cayman or Swiss bank accounts.
Of course.
In an interview with the Wall Street Journal, and remember, Wall Street Journal is, Fox. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal, Zelensky admitted he has concerns about the possible re-election of Donald Trump next year, saying that he was unsure how exactly the Republican leader would have reacted had Russia invaded during his presidency. Well, Russia would not have invaded if Trump were in the White House.
For sure.
The Ukraine,
I think we can all agree on that.
Exactly. I mean, everybody knows that. The Ukrainian, by the way, if you hear some noise in the background, there's a massive pool party going on with our neighbors, and there's a lot of kids there. And kids love to yell and scream and make noise at the pool
parties. They've been there for hours.
Yeah, I know. It's never ending.
We've been 4 hours now.
We've been waiting. We were going to wait for the pool party to end, but we just decided why not. It's Florida. There's pool parties all the time. Anyway, the Ukrainian head of state praised the response of the Biden administration. Well, anyone who's praising Biden, is a corrupt person, which has regularly handed over billions of dollars worth of weapons and money to Ukraine since Moscow's invasion last year. Asked how he felt about Donald Trump. Now, Zelensky would be like, hey, Trump, that's great. He said he's going to end the war. That's what I'd say, but That's not Zelensky. Asked how he felt about Donald Trump, Zelensky admitted that he was more comfortable dealing with Biden, because Biden.
Of course, he gives him all the money.
Exactly. And that and I'll
sugar
tell you,
daddy.
There was a story last week. This was insane. I tweeted this story. You can find it on my Twitter, Brian Craig Show on Twitter. Someone took a photograph in Mexico of a drug cartel member with an American shoulder-held missile on their back, on a strap, and it was Jack Posobiec found out about this. And it's one of the missiles that we gave to Ukraine, and you can tell because of the markings on it. So how are these Mexican cartel members getting the weapons we're sending to Ukraine? So Zelensky goes on. He says, President Biden is the president during a full-scale war, and he's been more helpful to us than Trump, Zelensky told the interviewer. There was no war going on before.
Exactly.
Qualifying the statement by noting that there was no full-scale war going on while Trump was in office. So what's supposed to... In a situation like this, when there is support, you're afraid of changes, Zelensky said. And to be honest, when you mention a change of administration, I feel the same way as anyone. You want changes for the better, but it can also be the other way around. Okay, here's the thing. What's really going on between Russia and Ukraine so far as fighting, we don't know. We see very little. President Trump says there's much more death going on than is being reported, which I don't know why the press isn't reporting that, because they're pro-war. But that's what President Trump says. And I believe President Trump. And he says entire buildings of people are being killed in Ukraine. Zelensky should be jumping for joy at the thought that the war would end. But he doesn't want it to end. Right now, it kind of looks like they're in a stalemate. And all Zelensky really cares about is keeping the status quo going where the money is coming. I mean, that's it. I think it's pretty obvious by that statement.
Well, plus Biden's going to use the whole idea of changing administrations during a time of war. So he benefits from that too, because he's counting on the fact that people aren't going to want to switch quarterbacks mid-game, which is like what they say.
Yeah.
That they're not going to want to switch presidents while we're in the middle of a war, but it's really not our war. We're just funding it. We're not really,
Exactly.
we don't have soldiers over there. We're not sending troops there. A few have volunteered, but this is really a civil war between two other countries that we're just funding. So I don't think Americans are going to be as concerned about this as an issue for the next election. When we had the war against Afghanistan with Bush, we had soldiers over there, thousands. Yeah. We were actually fighting in that war. So I think that's going to be the difference with this one. It's very far removed. And you have people that agree with the funding and people that don't agree with the funding. That's really what it's going to come down to. But I don't think that's the main issue for the next election. I think the main issues will be the border.
Oh, yeah.
The Fentanyl. Economy.
Yep. Inflation.
And crime.
Yeah.
I think those will be the three top issues. You have a lot of big cities, New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, San Francisco, which is a mess, which are typically very Democratic. And I'm hoping that the people that live there wake up. Of course, a lot of people that are that live there in these cities that own businesses and that are not drug addicts have moved and have left Portland. They have moved to Texas or Florida, and hopefully they'll vote Republican. I think that's a big reason why Florida did so well with the governor. It really wasn't necessarily him. It was more people were tired of living in California and
right.
communist states.
And, this thing with Zelensky, because at least I would expect Zelensky to say, Trump says he knows how to end the war in a month. Could he tell us now so we can end it now? This interview with Zelensky, it doesn't sound like he wants the war to end.
No. Well, of course he doesn't. It's been very lucrative for him.
Yeah, but it's almost, I agree. And plus, it's like the interview's like a confession.
Plus, it's not just about money. If he's like a Castro type, if he defeats Putin and wins that war, or you know what I mean? Overall,
or just ends in a stalemate.
Where does that put Zelensky as a power, as the head of Ukraine, and where else? Are they going to take some of that land?
Yeah, would he get reelected?
Is Russia going to be broken up, and are they going to take? Yeah. He's a young guy. Are they going to take on new land?
Ukraine has to have a reelection at some point, and I think Zelensky would rather have his reelection during the war than not. Now, listen, I want to tell you guys that if you're interested in advertising on the podcast here or my YouTube channel, reach out and get in touch with us through my website, briancraigshow.com. You can email us at briancraigshow.com. Kathy and I check those emails. And whatever you're interested in advertising, email us. If you have a link, send us the link. Tell us a little bit about your business and how to contact you other than email, unless you want to do everything by email. So go to briancraigshow.com. and send us an email. And anything you have, we'll take a look and let you know if it's a good fit, a business, a book, a cause, a website, another podcast, whatever it is you want to advertise, send us an email and we'll get back to you.
I want to mention real quick two things. We have a merch shop. If you look in the video when you're watching this, there's a merch shelf. And
on YouTube,
cool
it's on YouTube only.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And we are working with one of our Patreons on a new product. This is an original product. It's an idea Brian and I had that is Trump related, and it is in the. We're getting a sample sent to us.
Don't tell people what it is.
I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's very exciting, and it's something we are developing with one of our Patreons that we will be hopefully having for sale by the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Something very cute. And again, it's an idea Brian and I had that we thought people would really like and respond to. So that's something exciting to look forward to. It's an original. It's not a T-shirt. It's not something from our T-shirt shop. It's something else.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty cool.
It's really cool. We've just been designing it, going back and forth with this Patreon who owns a company that can help us. Working on designs. We've been working on this for months and months. I mean, I'd say 6 months back and forth. And we're finally have our design set And as soon as we get that going, we will let you guys know when we're taking orders for that. But that's something to look forward to.
That's true.
Hopefully by the end of the summer. Very exciting.
Now, there's a new poll out in Florida. This is a brand new poll. I've not heard of this poll before. Brand new poll, Trump and DeSantis. And, of course, President Trump has a double-digit lead in this poll. This is a new poll. Now, there was a poll, I don't know, about 2 or 3 weeks ago from Florida Atlantic University, which is where I went to college.
Yep, that's your alma mater.
That's right. Florida.
Even though you tell everybody it's Trump University, it's not.
That's a joke.
That's a joke. You went to FAU, which is a very good school, pretty much right on the beach.
It is, yeah.
They have a huge marine biology program.
Yeah, it's a big school.
Very big school.
It's not as famous as some of the others, but it's a pretty big
good
school.
So Florida, they went to the NCAA finals.
Yeah, so Florida Atlantic University had a poll out, I don't know, about 2 weeks ago, and President Trump had a double-digit lead in that poll. And now there's this new poll. A new poll, this is in the post-millennial. A new poll from Rich Barris's Big Data, which I've never heard of before, so I don't know anything about them or who they are, shows that Donald Trump is not only the GOP frontrunner for the 2024 nomination nationally, but leads Ron DeSantis in Florida. In Florida, Trump has, in this new poll, 52.5% of likely GOP voters, with DeSantis getting 20% less at just 32.6%. Now, this is...
Who has the other 15, 16%?
It's split between, Scott, Haley, Walker, Hutchinson. It's just, the hangers-on.
Well, I think DeSantis' team is counting on those people switching to him.
Well,
they're probably assuming they're never Trumpers.
He still has over 50% of the Republican vote.
Right.
So... This poll, which I'm reading about in the Post-Millennial, is a Canadian conservative news website.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was Canadian.
I've not seen this story in any other place. I've not seen it in any American news. I've been looking for polls, Trump versus DeSantis. I got to go to Canada to find one because the mainstream media are suppressing this information. But this poll in Florida is so significant. Now, if you go through all the polls, there's not a poll where Donald Trump doesn't have a double-digit lead on DeSantis, but this one is the second poll out of Florida in two different pollsters, the second poll out of Florida where Trump has a double-digit lead. And remember, Ron DeSantis is the sitting governor of Florida, and Trump has a double-digit lead. And he was just reelected 6 months ago, and Trump has a double-digit lead. So if he can't beat Trump in Florida, how can he beat him anywhere else? There's nowhere that DeSantis could be more popular than Florida. It's impossible. And Trump has a double-digit lead on him here in Florida. The DeSantis campaign is not even a legitimate campaign. It's a joke. It really is a joke. And
they're imitating the Trumps, his mannerisms. Somebody had made a video side by side of Trump with DeSantis. He says similar things. He moves his arms the same way. In a lot of ways, he imitates him in some ways. And his wife, with her ridiculous jacket that she wore, obviously copying Melania.
She dresses like Melania.
She's a big poser, Casey. She's playing, like you said, cosplay. She's playing a part. And her wearing this jacket, I think it's twofold. I think she is trying to get attention, and she did. It got written up in the Daily Mail, and they're selling merch. And I think they're going to start selling those jackets, or at least T-shirts with that stuff on it, with the
Florida where Will Goes to Die.
Yeah, they sell a lot of merch. It's a big part of funding their campaign. I bought merch from them, not recently, but last year I got cups. I got you a couple T-shirts. We haven't bought merch in a long time since all this started, but that's part of it too. But I wanted to address before we move on this thing Kellyanne Conway said about DeSantis. I don't know if you have that clip. She was spot on with her analysis of him. Yeah, her analysis was really good, so I wanted to go over that.
This is clip again. This is from Fox Business. I showed this on my live stream earlier today on YouTube. I just want to do a disclaimer here. I'm still boycotting Fox News. I broke the boycott for Trump's town hall. That's it. This audio is on Twitter.
Yeah, it's just
okay.
Clip,
so I saw this on Twitter. I pulled it off of Twitter. So I don't want you to think that I have fallen back to Fox. So no,
we don't watch Fox anymore.
Yeah. So this is Kellyanne Conway talking about Trump and DeSantis. And yeah, I agree with Kathy. She's right on the money here. It'll play.
What's this guy going to do? I don't get it.
You're not wrong. And the theory of the case for Ron DeSantis running for president is being blown up by these polls against Trump in 3 ways. Number one is electability. I'm the only guy who can win, and I'm the only guy who can beat Biden. That's just not true. He's not winning. And sure, he's beating Biden here or there, but so is Trump. Secondly, he feels like he has an advantage on COVID. He's out there talking about Dr. Fauci and COVID and lockdowns. I can't find very many Republican presidential primary voters in 2024 who want to talk about COVID.
Right.
I know what he's trying to say. He's wrong that he didn't shut down the state. He did shut down the state.
Yes.
His better argument, Larry, is the truthful one, which is I opened up Florida faster than other states. But they had a bad second wave, and because of Florida's weather, COVID was a little bit delayed there. The third theory of the case that was supposed to bolster Ron DeSantis is that he's the guy who he's generational change. People don't seem to want that right now. They don't want Biden there. But I think the whole generational change looks like inexperience. It looks like, what is your national platform, national security, foreign policy? You're right. He's been a good governor of Florida. He's got a lot to bring to the table. But he wasted the last 6 months or so. I don't see yet that he's going to be able to overtake Trump in these polls. Here's the conundrum for Ron DeSantis and everyone else, but him in second place. On the one hand, you have to attack Trump to beat Trump. On the other hand, you have to attract Trump's voters to win.
Right.
And how do you do that? If anything, I think the diehard Trump voters, of which there are millions and millions in the Republican primaries, they're punishing DeSantis.
I mean, what's this?
Yeah, I mean, that's
Totally agree with her.
Yeah, I mean, there's no path for DeSantis, even if Trump were not in the mix right now. Like say he said, I'm not running. Say he went to jail and couldn't run. And none of those things are going to happen. But let's just say somehow DeSantis got the nomination. I'm not supporting DeSantis. You can't trust this guy. You might as well have a Democrat there.
Well, I like what she said about how he's been going around saying I'm the only one that can beat Biden. He can't even beat Trump.
That's
in
right.
the primary, and that is based on zero evidence of anything.
Even in Florida, where he's governor.
And to make that kind of a claim, it's ridiculous just on its
It
face
is,
value.
isn't it?
Because he's so behind in the polls. He has to beat Trump first in order to beat Biden.
And there's no path
And he's not
for him.
beating Trump.
There's no
so
path to
that's
do
the
it.
only way. It's not going to happen, but they keep holding on to hope that that'll change. Like I said, I think they feel Trump will be in jail. But she made that point, again, with the COVID. People are sick of talking about it. It's a losing strategy for both people to focus on that. And I don't think Trump should focus on it at all. I don't think he should take that bait with DeSantis. But I will say this, and I told you earlier today, it really seems as hard. You can't ignore Trump. You can't ignore him. And as much as DeSantis tries to ignore Trump and rise above it, I have seen multiple occasions in the last week or two where DeSantis has had to address something directly that Trump has mentioned. And the latest example is with his name. Trump made a comment during the town hall last week how DeSantis has changed the pronunciation of his name from DeSantis to DeSantis. And we've talked about this on the show. And a reporter went up to Ron DeSantis and asked him about that very thing.
How do you pronounce your name?
How do you pronounce your name? So the reporters and the media are forcing DeSantis to address these issues that Trump is bringing up. And DeSantis gave the weirdest response. He didn't give the correct pronunciation. He said, you pronounce it winning. Well, he's not winning. He's not winning anything. He won the governorship, but he won it because of Trump. Because MAGA voted for him.
He wouldn't win it today.
If he had gone against Trump before the election, he would have lost to Charlie
We'd
Crist.
have a Democrat
I can
right now
promise
as
you,
governor.
Charlie Crist would have won. But he didn't do that. He waited, and then he went full anti-Trump. But he says winning, but he's not winning. He is not winning in any poll I have seen. He is way behind. So he is not resonating. And I have noticed also that he is not the cool guy I thought he was. He's not like Tom Cruise from A Few Good Men.
No.
He is very awkward, and you can see in his body language.
A lot like Mayor Pete.
Worse. You can see in his body language and in his facial expressions when he is confronted with something. He'll come across very tough, but before he says anything, he starts to twitch really bad and make awkward movements.
He gets angry.
Yeah,
He
it's a
blows
lot of it is
stack.
anger, nervousness.
Yeah.
And you can see Trump is many things, but I have never seen Trump lose his temper. He is always, now he might attack somebody and say things that aren't so nice, but when have you ever seen Trump yell at somebody or really, really lose his cool? He's always calm and just, very confident in what he says. DeSantis has a bit of a temper, which is fine. It's okay. But when you see him being confronted, notice his body language and how he starts twitching and laughing weird. He's awkward. He's kind of inert. It's just so, I thought he was like this cool, popular guy in school, the cool jock. No.
He's a poser.
He's imposter. He's not. He's very awkward and uncomfortable in public. It's really interesting because I think he's just not ready for prime time. When you see him do press conferences around Florida, he's more comfortable because he's a Floridian and these are his people in his mind. But on the national stage outside of Florida, he's very awkward and he doesn't know those people and they don't know him as well. And you can tell.
One of our listeners who's a regular in the YouTube live chat, if you guys watch on YouTube, Shauna, she tweeted a video that some highlights of President Trump from 2016 and the debates with Jeb. And I know
my gosh.
I know it's unrelated because it's got Jeb Bush in it to what we're talking about, but it's really not. And I'm going to play this. It's a little montage, and I'll play it before the break. Jeb Bush is the senior advisor to Ron DeSantis, okay? And he came out like a total amateur here against Trump. And I thought I'd play this. So it's mostly Trump versus Jeb, and this is all 2016 debate highlights. This doesn't get old. I've watched this like 5 times today.
Well, this is what DeSantis is in for.
He doesn't know it, though. But listen, this is Trump and Jeb 2016. Hold on.
And we need to. This is a tough business to run for president.
I know you're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is
real tough.
You're never going to be president of the United
You're
States
really
insulting your way to the
let's
presidency.
see. I'm at 42 and you're at 3. So
Doesn't
far
matter.
I'm doing
Oh
better.
my God.
So far I'm doing better. You started off over here, Jeb. You're moving over further and further. Pretty soon you're going to be off the end.
This
lose your
doesn't
temper
do
there.
Here's a guy that buys a house for $179,000. He sells it to a lobbyist who's probably here for $380,000.
This is Marco.
And then legislation is passed. You tell me about this guy. This is what we're going to have as president.
He's had the gall to go after
World
my
Trade
mother.
Center came
He's
down
had the
during
gall
your
to go
brother's
after
reign.
my mother.
Remember that.
Hold on. Let me finish this. He's had the gall to go after my mother.
That's not keeping
Look, I
us
won
safe.
the lottery when I was born 63 years ago and looked up and I saw my mom. My mom is the strongest woman I know.
She should
This
be
is
running.
not about my.
Take 30 seconds. Let me just, he wants to be a tough guy. A lot of times, you'll have, and it doesn't work very well with
How tough is it
a
to
lot
take
of
away
times,
property from an elderly woman?
Let me talk. Quiet.
How tough
a lot
is
of
it?
times,
Are they doing Trump or Jeb?
that's all of his donors and special interests out there. So, that's what it is. And by the way, let me just tell you, we needed tickets. You can't get them. You know who has the tickets I'm talking about to the television audience? Donors, special interests,
right.
the people that are putting up the money.
He's right about
It is.
that.
The RNC told us we have all donors in the audience, and the reason they're not loving me, the reason they're not loving me is I don't want their money. I'm going to do the right thing for the American public. I don't want their money. I don't need their money, and I'm the only one up here that can say that.
This is a tough.
Yeah, I mean, that's beautiful stuff.
Well, I remember when,
that was a great
Jeb
one.
Bush said how things were safe under his brother.
That's what led to that.
And then
yeah.
Trump said 9/11 happened on your brother's
that's what
watch.
that clip was,
And
yeah.
Trump was in New York when that happened.
Yeah.
He saw the devastation
He went to ground zero.
firsthand. So believe me, and that was the first thing I thought of. Plus, we went to war, which we did not need to do. How many Americans were killed or maimed because of an unnecessary? He's a warmonger. How
That's
are we
right.
safe? He started a whole war with
That's
a foreign
right.
country.
And you know
Give me a break.
this clip. I mean, think about that. That's the top advisor to Ron DeSantis,
who was
right
polling
there.
at 3%.
Mhm.
And he thought he would make up that gap. Remember, Trump said, you're at 3%. And Jeb said, doesn't matter. It does matter because when you're at 3%, you don't win.
Yeah, that's right. Now, listen, we're going to take a quick break. We got a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
From author Dwight Reynolds comes your next must-read book, Never Been Better. Memories of people, places, and experiences. Available on Amazon. Journey with the Thompson family as they leave the emerald shores of Ireland, braving the Atlantic for a new life in America. Experience their trials and the spirit of humanity. The author weaves unforgettable tales from around the globe, all captured with a profound appreciation for life's beauty, a spark of humor, and a testament to positivity, perseverance, and family. Never Been Better is perfect for history enthusiasts, memoir lovers, anyone seeking an uplifting read that lingers long after the last page is turned, and book clubs. And a portion of each book sold will be donated to a mental health charity. So not only will you embark on an unforgettable journey, but you'll also be helping a great cause. Never Been Better is available right now on Amazon. Experience the memories, share the journey, feel the love, because life, as author Dwight Reynolds shows us, has never been better. Robert Allen Miltenberg invites you to time travel with him to the Roman future. His new novella, available at Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. It's the golden age of Rome, a time of peace and prosperity. And Scadius Commodius Lavatorius is its greatest scientist. But for all he's achieved, one question haunts him. Will Rome survive the test of time? There's only one way to find out. Come along on this cosmic romp of an adventure. See if you can read the signs any better than a brilliant scientist can. Prediction, science fiction, allegory, national glory. This is a satire at its most gladiatorial. Center stage in the Circus Maximus of your mind. A story of time machines and timeless politics, strange Roman cuisine and gambling parlor tricks, spinning gold and crossing the river Styx. That's the Roman future. Available on Kindle and paperback. Go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble now and visit The Roman Future by Robert Allen Miltenberg today. Parents, grandparents, and teachers, there's a heartwarming new children's book from author James Carey that you will want to add to your child's must-read list. Strong Evan, Evan and the Adventures of Diabetes, now available on Amazon. Join Evan, a young boy living with diabetes, as he embarks on a series of exciting adventures while learning to manage his condition. Evan refuses to let diabetes hold him back, and with the help of his continuous glucose monitor, insulin pump, and the support of his loving family, he lives life to the fullest. From playing soccer and swimming to climbing mountains and exploring the ocean, he shows that anything is possible when you have determination and a positive attitude. Throughout the book, Evan and his family cook healthy meals and engage in open conversation about managing diabetes. This book teaches valuable life lessons and will inspire young readers. Strong Evan is an engaging and educational story that empowers children to face challenges head on while promoting understanding and empathy for those living with diabetes. Order your copy of Strong Evan, Evan and the Adventures of Diabetes from author James Carey on Amazon right now, and give your child the gift of courage, confidence, and compassion with this wonderful children's book.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. So Dana Bash today, she went on a long thing on Trump. She looked physically ill on CNN today, Dana Bash. You got to understand, Dana Bash isn't just a liberal with CNN. She's CIA. Her husband that she got the Bash name from is a senior guy at the CIA and was when they were married. So, she's another one of the CIA people in the mainstream media. But I just want to play this clip, then we'll talk about it. Hold on. I had it muted, guys. I'm sorry. Hold on, let me rewind it. Here we go.
To a different topic, and that is CNN reporting that federal prosecutors obtained an audio recording of former President Trump talking about holding on to a classified document about a potential U.S. attack on Iran. That was after he left office. You're an elected official. You know that it is illegal to take classified documents, and the tape appears to show that he knew he had those documents. Do you find what President Trump did, the former president, irresponsible?
Okay. I'm not going to get into it. She's talking to a Republican congressman from Colorado, but that the rest of the conversation is unimportant. Mm-hmm. There is no tape. CNN is asking people to comment on whether or not what Trump did in this tape is responsible or irresponsible. CNN has not heard this tape.
Exactly.
I don't believe the tape exists. This story's been going around for a week now. And the whole this is just like the Russia hoax, okay?
Exactly.
There is no tape. And by the way, even if there was a tape, they'd have it out there. They're terrified of Trump. Double-digit leads against DeSantis. They're flipping out. They would have that tape all over the media trying to hurt him. But here's the thing about the tape. Even if the tape exists and it happened, did he give classified secret information to people? Everyone knows, and the answer to that is no, or they'd go after him for it. Everyone knows that the United States military have plans on how to strike every country. They have plans on how to strike Canada if Canada were to invade because they border us. Saying that everyone knows that there's many, many plans that the government has, the Pentagon has, the military have, on attacking Iran. That's not classified information that there are plans in existence to do such a thing. They have plans on how to attack the Bahamas. I mean, they have plans on how to deal with any country at any time.
This is going to go nowhere. And what he should have said to her, I don't know what his response was.
It was a congressman. It wasn't Trump.
He should have said to her, have you heard the tape?
Yeah.
Do you have the tape? And he should say, I'm not going to comment on it unless I hear it for myself.
Exactly.
Because this could be another Russia hoax.
It is.
Fake news. And then she would have had nothing to say to it.
It's exactly that.
They talked about the dossier. Remember they said they had can you imagine? They had a videotape of Trump with hookers peeing
Russian
on a bed.
Hookers, yeah.
I mean, golden shower, all this stuff. They had this on tape. Remember,
while he pleasured himself watching.
Right. Avenatti had a CD. Michael Cohen has evidence. Nobody's ever seen this stuff.
Yeah.
What about his taxes that were going to be so damaging? They've had his taxes for a year. Nothing works with these people. They must be the most frustrated group of people because this is something they cannot control. Mm-hmm. They're not getting their way, and it's driving them nuts. This is another thing that's going to fall flat.
Absolutely.
This whole thing with the documents, nothing's going to happen with this. I promise you. It's another story going. No, another nothing burger.
There's
as Van
no
Jones likes
tape.
to say.
There is no tape.
But they want to get the conversation going. And I had a theory on this. I told you earlier what I think's going on. Brian and I watch a lot of ID. And one of the tactics cops use when they want to get somebody to confess is they tell them they have evidence when they don't. Mm-hmm. They fake them out. And I think that's what's going on here. I think the media is trying to force Trump into confessing something by making him feel there's something out there that's not there. Because their thinking is, they don't understand this guy. Their thinking is, oh, he'll wonder who recorded me. He's so paranoid about being recorded. He thinks everything's bugged. Who recorded me? I don't remember. Did I have a conversation? Mm-hmm. And he'll start panicking. And the next thing you know, he'll truth something and he'll incriminate himself. That's what they're hoping he does here. And that's what they've always hoped when they've come out with these fake stories is that he'll quit, he'll admit something or screw himself. Oh, believe me, never going to happen. Trump is not stupid. But they think he is, but he's not.
Not at all. Now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters. If you want to support the program, of course, there are many great ways to do that. And one of them is to become a patron of the program. And if you'd like to become a patron, there's a link in the episode description of this and every episode. And there's a direct link on my website, briancraigshow.com. If you're a patron to the program, you have access to commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode. And if you're a top Patreon supporter, you get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Rome, Wisconsin, Mike P, Macho, Paulette, John, Carlos, Arctic Fox, Melissa, David, and Richard. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much, guys. And again, there's a link to our Patreon page in the episode description if you would like to become a patron. Okay, so this is just insane. Listen to this. A student has been barred from his high school graduation ceremony after stating that there are only two genders.
Oh, my goodness.
He said girls are girls and guys are guys. There is no in between. He's 18 years old. His name's Travis. This is insane. insane.
Yep.
He made the comment at a high school assembly where seniors at Idaho's Kellogg High School offer a piece of advice to younger students. More than 100 parents, students, community members all gathered on Friday to protest the school's decision to ban him for participating in the graduation ceremony over the remark, according to the Idaho Tribune. He says, I didn't direct it at any groups or anything like that. It was something I chose to say in the moment.
Where did he say this?
Just at a student group meeting.
Wow.
He said his remark was met with an uproar of cheers. Yeah, I know.
This is what the left does. They want to silence anybody who disagrees with them. And they want you to accept everything. You know, you're just supposed to accept whatever they think you should accept. And if you don't accept it, then you're a bigot, you're a terrorist, you're a Nazi, white supremacist, take your pick.
Yeah.
You don't have to accept everything. Just because somebody lives a certain way or it says there's 10 genders, you don't have, or there's climate change, you don't have to accept that. You have the ability, you have the God-given ability of discernment.
Well, what they've done is
intelligence. You can say, you know what, I don't agree with that.
They've set this standard that if you don't agree with them on everything, you are dangerous. That's it. You're dangerous.
But they can disagree with what you think.
And listen to this.
That's okay.
So there was this protest of people saying, hey, he should be able to graduate. A school bus driver went to the protest in support of the student. They've been fired.
Wow. The parents should sue the school.
You know, I mean, the whole school did. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
that's crazy.
You know, what this whole gender thing is getting out of control. And I really... It's the topic of all this gender stuff is my least favorite topic to talk about.
It's stupid, and I think
that's exactly right.
Most people think it's stupid.
That's why I don't like talking about it. It's so absurdly
pushing it on
stupid.
us, and the reason they're pushing it is they want to get a reaction, and they want to make us look like we're oppressing them. They want to create a victim group again, because the gays have gotten gay marriage, they can adopt. There's a lot more acceptance than there was 20 years ago. So the left are thinking, well, what do we do now? Everybody's happy and has what they want. We got to create a new class of people that we can appeal to and appeal to their insecurities and get them to vote for us and make them feel like they're victims. That's what they're doing.
I want to play this clip of Megyn Kelly. You know, Megyn Kelly on Friday, she said she's no longer going to use preferred pronouns, which that is, I don't use preferred pronouns either.
I didn't know she was even doing that.
I'm not really encountering people that have preferred pronouns, but sometimes at Starbucks they'll have them on their aprons, you know.
And some places have them on their name tag.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just stupid. Sometimes it's hard to tell if the gender of the person, and I was telling you over the weekend. This is something that kind of just irked me in the wrong way. You know, there's some things that I'm a fan of that don't involve news. Like, I'm a big fan of Superman. I'm not into all these MCU universe and all this stuff.
He's
I'm not,
with DC.
You know, I like Superman, and, you know, I think Superman the movie with Christopher Reeve is like the best superhero movie ever made. And there was no need to ever make another one after that movie in 1978. And I'm not into all these Batman movies or anything, but there's a new one coming out that I'm actually going to see. There's a new movie. It's with the Flash, and it has Batman in it. And they brought back Michael Keaton.
That's going to be awesome
to play Batman, and which is amazing. Obviously, he's an older Batman, which we've never seen. And I love Michael Keaton, and that movie was, I think, 1985, the one with Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton, the original. And I'm not into any of these new Superman movies or anything. I like Christopher Reeve. I like George Reeves. You know, I'm not into all this new stuff too much at all, you know.
Well, they're just making so many.
But because they're bringing back Michael Keaton to play Batman.
Yeah, that's cool.
That one I will see, okay? And I'm like, I'm excited about this. So I saw there was a trailer for it, and they've got it's Batman. There's no Superman, maybe. There's a Supergirl. Mm-hmm. And the Supergirl is like non-binary.
She's like androgynous.
She looks like a boy, but has boobs.
Right.
And they call her Supergirl, which
Yeah.
I,
So
you
she's
know,
kind of both.
And it really ticked me off because I want to see this movie because of Michael Keaton, but then they've turned Supergirl into Superboy. You know, I mean,
With
it's
breasts, which is not unusual these
very,
days.
very bizarre.
Look at Caitlyn Jenner.
And what they're doing in our society over this, at first I thought this was just a stupid fad, but then the Bud Light happened, Target happened, these other things are happening, this new thing that Supergirl's now Superboy, and all these. You think I'm kidding? Go watch the trailer on YouTube, guys. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's just ridiculous. But I'm still going to see it because I got to see Michael Keaton back as Batman. I hope he's not in it 30
Absolutely.
seconds. If he's in it 30 seconds, I'm going to be pissed.
And he says his famous line that
I'm
he said to
Batman.
Jack Nicholson. No, he says that, but in the original, I actually Googled it. He says to Jack Nicholson, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts."
Yeah.
And he says that in this movie.
I love
It
Michael
is
Keaton.
So I love
Michael Keaton.
Well, Michael Keaton is like, he's old school. Like he goes back to the 80s.
He's a real actor.
Night Shift. He's amazing. Mr. Mom. I mean, he's one of
I
my
love Michael
favorite
Keaton.
actors.
The-
Pacific Heights. he was
Bachelor
good-
Party.
No, that was Tom Hanks.
Was that Tom Hanks?
That was Tom Hanks.
What
yeah.
was the? What was the? Yeah, that's right. That was Tom Hanks.
He did Night Shift with
Night
Henry
Shift.
Winkler.
What else did he do? Mr. Mom.
Mr.
Night
Mom
Shift.
was hilarious. Then he did the Batman movie,
What was the one?
Beetlejuice, which they're making another Beetlejuice with Johnny Depp.
What was the movie with Meg
And Michael
Ryan,
Keaton?
with Michael Keaton with Meg Ryan and Matthew Modine where he was the tenant? He rented the house.
Yeah, Pacific Heights.
That was Pacific
Yeah,
Heights.
he's
Okay,
really good in
that's
that.
a great. So anyway,
He's a great actor.
I'm going to see this because Michael Keaton's in it. But anyway,
Absolutely.
back to this. So Megyn Kelly said she's no longer going to use preferred pronouns. So what I'm guessing is, does that mean she's going to call Caitlyn Jenner Bruce Jenner? I don't know. But she talked about this on her show, and I want to play this.
She'll call him he. She'll call Caitlyn he.
I guess. I want to play this clip because this is from her show on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And she broke down in tears over what happened to this woman that was on her show over this trans mafia that's harassing people. Listen to this.
To them. And she was not the only one. Kelly J. Keene, a 5'1" English mother of 4 and devoted advocate for women's rights, who came on this show recently and spoke truth so plainly it moved me profoundly, has been repeatedly targeted. In March, she was doused in tomato juice as a mob moved in, yelling, "F you, you C-word," prepared to cause her physical harm
Oh my goodness.
rather than let her speak in New Zealand.
Yeah, they don't let you speak.
Had she not been rushed out by police, she clearly would have been brutalized. And there I was, along with millions of others, watching and learning and finally seeing it. There is the harm. There's the harm.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you hear her crying there.
The harm is not in saying the wrong pronoun. The harm is the way and they're the terrorists. They're the ones who are harassing people, terrorizing people,
Oh, yeah.
forcing you to accept their ideology. I mean, that's what Nazis used to do. That's the left for you.
Well, Kathy,
they
you know what you
bully
got?
you into submission.
We got a bunch of people that are outcast and freaks that are living this weirdo lifestyle. Many of them are on all kinds of hormones that affect your mood.
Right.
And they're directing our society that our entire society needs to change
A
for
lot
them.
of this is political.
They're out of their mind.
And this is being pushed to divide. That's what the politicians do. They divide and conquer. And that's what they're doing. They're creating an issue that really is not an issue. They're making it a big thing. They're making it seem like this is like so common when most people understand what's going on and most people have common sense. But they highlight certain little. I mean, this kid with the school, that's nuts. So it is happening. Don't get me wrong, but they're pushing this because they want to divide people and they want to create a new victim class and they want to make us the conservatives the enemy. They want to make us like we're the oppressors. But she's right. The harm is in how they're reacting. It's not us not saying the right pronoun. That's not what's harmful. What's harmful is their violent reaction when you don't submit to their will.
That's right.
And the media just will not, even on Fox, they won't. They're celebrating this now on Fox. They will not call this out. They will not say what it is because they are arms of the politicians. They do what the national news is nothing more than propaganda. I mean, it is absolutely full on, no matter which one you watch. It is full on propaganda. You need to know, I'm not saying don't watch it, but you need to know that going in. They all have an agenda, and it seems like Fox now has a liberal agenda, and they're pushing it. And that's the way it is.
Well,
they're pushing this to divide people.
I'm glad Megyn Kelly is standing up against this because, Megyn Kelly was part of that Me Too movement, right? But she let it at five.
She's very smart.
By the way, that movie about Megyn Kelly where Charlize Theron plays her is very good.
And she's really good as Megyn Kelly.
Yeah.
She has her down.
It is I was surprised how good the movie was. It was on Hulu. I don't know if it's still on Hulu. It was on Hulu.
Nicole Kidman plays Gretchen Carlson.
Yeah. And I watched it because it popped up, and I'm like, I don't know. It seems kind of
What's the name of that movie?
Really good bombshell.
Very good movie. Highly recommend.
It's very good.
Charlize Theron is, I don't love her. She's really stupid, by the way, if you see her in interviews. But she played Megyn Kelly like, if you closed your eyes, you'd think it was her. She had her voice down. It was like she was mimicking her. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Now, listen, summertime's here. It's been in Florida for a while because we're in Florida. But those of you that live in other parts of the country or the world, summertime's coming to everyone, except in Australia, to our Australian listeners.
That's true.
But if you're in North America, if you're in Europe,
time there.
The summertime's coming. And that means hot weather, warm weather. And Mike Lindell has upgraded two of his greatest products, the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper and the MyPillow. He's upgraded them perfectly for the summer heat. The MyPillow 2.0 has the cooling technology so that your head and face never get hot again at night. Kathy and I sleep on these pillows. It has the same patented fill inside as the MyPillow that started it all, but the material the cover is made out of has the cooling technology.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Perfect for the summertime. The MyPillow 2.0, a major upgrade on the original MyPillow, is buy one, get one free with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE at mypillow.com. Now, the other one...
If you're going through menopause, it's always summertime.
Yeah.
By the way, so it's great if you're going through menopause. Truly makes a huge... You do not wake up completely hot, covered in sweat. It really does make a big difference.
Now, the same goes for the upgrade with the MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper 2.0. The 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0 also has the cooling technology to perfectly keep your entire body perfectly the right temperature all night long. You will not get hot ever again between the MyPillow 2.0 and the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0 with cooling technology. The new MyPillow mattress topper 2.0 with the cooling technology with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, at mypillow.com is 40% off and free shipping. 40% off and free shipping on the mattress 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0 with cooling technology with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. By the way, it comes in every mattress size there is, all right? Every mattress size. So go get that and have a perfect summer. We'll be right back.
Have you dreamed of starting a successful online business but didn't know how or even where to begin? If you're ready to turn your dreams of a successful online business into reality, look no further. Introducing How to Start an Online Business, your ultimate guide to navigating the exciting world of online commerce. This comprehensive resource is designed to equip aspiring entrepreneurs just like you with the knowledge, tools, and strategies needed to launch and grow your digital venture. From idea to successful launch, How to Start an Online Business provides step-by-step guidance and valuable insights at every stage of your entrepreneurial journey. It's packed with actionable tips, real-life case studies, and expert advice from successful online entrepreneurs. How to Start an Online Business is more than just theory. It's a practical resource that empowers you to make informed decisions and overcome obstacles. No matter your background or experience level, this book can help you harness the power of the internet and create your digital empire. Visit etechecommerce.com/opt-in for a free video and ebook on how to start an online business. etechecommerce.com/opt-in and begin your journey to online entrepreneurship. etechecommerce.com/opt-in. Do you feel lost in the noise of the world? Are you seeking clarity, joy, and perfect health under all conditions? Each of us was born with a guide that holds the answers to all our questions. Author Alex Abosine invites you on an amazing journey to the depth of your soul in his enlightening new book, The Voice Within, available on Amazon and bookbaby.com. As T.S. Eliot once said, we shall not cease from exploration, and the end of our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. It's time to recognize and align with your inner voice. It's time to find happiness and unconditional love. It's time to hear your voice within. Embark on this journey with The Voice Within, an amazing journey to the depth of your soul. From author Alex Abosine, now available on Amazon and bookbaby.com in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook. Order your copy right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. This is the captain speaking. Just about ready to depart. We should be away on schedule in the next couple of minutes or so. Flight time will be 9 hours and 40 minutes.
Are you an international traveler or someone who has dreamed of traveling the world? Get ready to expand your horizons with the ultimate global podcast experience, the International Lounge Podcast, available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. This is your passport to the world of culture, where food, film, music, history, and fascinating tales from travelers come alive. With captivating storytelling and hilarious insights, each episode covers the rich heritage and traditions of a different country. From the ancient wonders of Egypt to the vibrant streets of India, discover the mystique of China and the flavors of Italy, the beauty of Greece, the vastness of Russia, and beyond. The International Lounge Podcast covers it all. So grab your earbuds and join the International Lounge Podcast, available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and follow them on Instagram at International Lounge Podcast. The International Lounge Podcast, your ticket to laughter, learning, and the wonders of the world.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. So this Ramaswamy guy, he's lost his mind, okay? You know, a lot of MAGA people like Ramaswamy as maybe like a vice president. I don't know enough about this guy. I know he says a lot of things we agree with, but I don't know too much about him. But he gave an interview today. He said the American First agenda doesn't belong to Donald Trump, and he's going to take that agenda even further. Okay, here's the thing about Ramaswamy and this comment here. First off, the agenda is Trump's agenda and does belong to him, but he's the only person that can get the America First agenda done. And
it's certainly not going to be this guy.
No, Ramaswamy.
I mean, come on.
I've seen him on some interviews, and I haven't heard him say anything I disagree with until now.
Right.
But the reason he's on all these interviews is because he's rich, and that's why they have him on.
He's probably paying for that time.
He may be.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
I don't know, but he is in with all of these people because he's rich.
Yeah.
And that's how he gets on all these interviews. It's not because he's a player. I mean, he's not even polling.
I promise you he is paying to be interviewed. That happens.
It does happen.
All the time.
But his money is why he's on all these things.
Yeah,
so, he's not really a player here. And because he's rich and they have him on all these interviews, his opinions are overinflated as to their significance. They really are. I don't pay much attention to him. Mm-hmm. Though there's a big trial that's starting this week here in South Florida. That's a big one. And it involves the Parkland shooting. And I'm going to read through this story. This is from the AP. Florida deputy faces trial for alleged failure to confront the Parkland school shooter. This trial will be in Fort Lauderdale here in Florida, where Kathy and I grew up, and it's not too far from us.
And Mark Eiglish is representing him, who is always on Fox News. I haven't seen him because I haven't watched Fox News, but when I was watching it,
he was on a lot.
He was always on with Martha, and he's out of Miami. He's very tan with dyed black hair, but I always liked him. He seemed like a cool guy. But he is, I think, representing him.
This case is a big one. And now let me just read this from the AP. In a prosecution believed to be a national first, a former Florida sheriff's deputy is about to be tried on charges He failed to confront the gunman who murdered 14 students and 3 staff members at the school in Parkland 5 years ago. And
do you think they'll do that with Uvalde? Do you think they'll charge
I don't know,
them?
but this guy here, okay, this guy here, he got a radio call from one of the maintenance men who saw, Nicholas Cruz, the Parkland shooter, was dropped off by either Uber or Lyft, right? Rideshare dropped him off. One of the maintenance men saw him walking with a bag in his hand and radioed on the walkie-talkie.
They all knew who he was.
The sheriff's deputy.
Yep.
And he said, Nicholas Cruz is walking purposefully towards Building 12.
That's right.
And the sheriff's deputy was afraid of Nicholas Cruz, which I can understand because he's crazy
and the whole school knew all about him.
And what he did was call in fake radio calls, pretended to look for him when he didn't.
He was hiding.
And he was hiding. He was pretending to look in windows and stuff. And what's going to come out in this trial, which will be televised since it's a Florida trial.
That'll be good.
Is that if he would have done his job, he may not have saved everybody, okay? Maybe he wouldn't have even saved himself. But if he would have confronted Nicholas Cruz, he went up 2 or 3, I can't remember if there were 2 or 3 stories in that building. I want to say 3. There might have been 2. He could have confronted him on the first floor before he went upstairs. He did most of his killing after he left the first floor and went upstairs.
I think he could have saved all those kids.
Maybe.
Because he was told about it when he was headed towards the building. He was not that far, and he might have been able to. He could have saved all those children.
He might have been able to.
Yep.
But he may not have won. He could have confronted him, and maybe he would have lost his life, but his job was to protect the school and the students and the faculty. He didn't do it, and he called in the fake radio calls pretending. There were people that went in there unarmed. There were school teachers who went unarmed into that. There was an off-duty police officer from another department, the Coral Springs Police, who was he was watering the lawn on the baseball field. Right. He heard about what happened. He borrowed a gun from another officer. He went in, and this guy's hiding. He would have been able to confront Nicholas Cruz at least on the first floor before he did most of his killing.
Right.
And I hope he's convicted. Jury selection begins Wednesday. This is back to the AP story. Jury selection begins Wednesday in the trial of former Broward County Sheriff's Deputy Scott Peterson, same name as that guy that killed his wife Lacey, although he spells Scott with 1 T, which is weird.
I've never seen that.
I have. It's weird. Who remained outside a 3-story classroom building. Yeah, see, it was 3 stories. Remained outside a 3-story classroom building at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School during the Nicholas Cruz 6-minute attack on February 14th, 2018. I remember where we were when that shooting happened. We were at Sears.
That's right.
The Sears was about to go out of business at our local mall.
His problem is there's video evidence. There were cameras on the campus, and there's video of him hiding while he's calling in these fake radio calls. I think that's how he got busted.
Well, he's being
they show
charged.
Him hiding behind the stairs.
Let me
and they
finish.
go through the whole timeline of what he's doing and where Nicholas Cruz is at and how many opportunities. They did this on the news. He had to stop him, and he didn't. He was hiding under the stairwell. I understand you're afraid, but that's what his job.
Well, we're all afraid.
Is to protect the kids. He's a cop.
His charges are weird. He's being charged with 7 counts of felony child neglect for 4 students killed and 3 wounded on the 3rd floor. It says here, Peterson arrived at the building with his gun drawn 73 seconds before Cruz reached the floor. But instead of entering, he backed away as he heard gunfire.
There you go.
Or they say his gunfire sounded, which he had to hear.
That's plenty of time.
He said he didn't know where the shots were coming from. He's also charged with 3 counts of misdemeanor culpable negligence for the adult shot on the 3rd floor, including a teacher and an adult student who died. He also is facing a perjury charge. It goes on and on. You know, a lot of people. Let me tell you, I've heard this case since it's local. I've heard from police officers who are supporting him. There were police officers that are supporting him for what he did.
What did they say?
He did the right thing. You know, you'd be scared too. You know, you wouldn't. It's not my job to go in.
No.
Okay, I'm not a trained police officer. You know, and this guy. I mean, when you're a police officer, it's more than just about waiting to retire to get your pension.
Well, I think what might have happened is he's probably been a resource officer at the school for a while. He's been out of action. When you're a resource officer at a school, you work there full time, and all you do really is wander the halls, and maybe break up a few fights that go on. They might call you into the office if there's a fight. You write up a report, but after a while, after not being in the field and working on the streets, you probably go soft and you lack that edge and that experience of dealing with criminals all the time. And you get cushy. It's a cushy job, and you get comfortable. And then when something really happens, you don't know what to do because you've lacked experience. You know what I'm saying? I was a teacher. We had the same resource officer for the time I was there for 4 years at a middle school, and they really just walked around a lot. Like I said, they broke up fights, or they would be called in for a fight, write a report, things like that. They would give demonstrations on tasers and safety and things like that. But they weren't out on the streets busting up criminals day in and day out. And I think if you do that after a while, you lose that ability. Maybe you're out of practice.
Well,
maybe that's part of it too.
This is the trial I've been waiting for because, anytime there's a school shooting, all they talk about is gun control. And what you find, it's not gun control is not the problem. The problem is all kinds of other things like this guy here. And I hope he gets convicted, and I hope he gets sent to prison. Yeah,
I like Mark Eiglish. I like his attorney, but but I want to see this guy get convicted. And this is unprecedented. Like the article said, I think this will set a precedence if he does get convicted. And you might see like the Uvalde police and other police officers who don't do their job get jammed up too, because they're there to protect. And when they don't do that, kids are getting shot and getting killed.
Yeah.
But this Nicholas Cruz guy, you saw him at the Wawa. He's a little guy. He's not a big guy. He had big guns, but the cop had a gun too. He could have just boom, taken care of business and ended all of this and saved a lot of lives.
See, what's going to come out is the reason he did this is because he was terrified of Nicholas Cruz. And I met Nicholas Cruz that one time. I encountered him. What had happened was I was at the Wawa and I was getting coffee in the morning, and he was getting a sub at like 4:30 in the morning. And I remember him like it was yesterday. He was wearing pajama pants. And the place where you get the subs is between the cash register and the place where you get the coffee.
Right.
And he blocked my way after I got my coffee, so I couldn't walk past there. He moved and got in front of me and blocked my way.
Yeah.
And he's like short guy, like 5 foot tall, 5'1". It was very scary, and he was staring at me, and I was staring at him, and I walked around him, and his eyes followed me the whole way to the cash register till I paid, and when I walked to my car, I was looking over my shoulder. He was watching me the whole way to the car at the gas pump. He was scary.
About you.
He's psychotic. He's psychotic. He's
Maybe
crazy.
You were wearing a Trump shirt or something.
No, I was not wearing a Trump shirt. No, he's just crazy. And that's why when the shooting happened, they interviewed some of the kids, and they were saying before we even knew who did it, they said Nicholas Cruz did this. He's crazy.
Yeah, they all knew.
They all knew.
They all knew.
Even though they didn't see him do it, they knew Nicholas Cruz did it.
And they even said, one kid they interviewed, he said, everybody knows this guy, and we all have talked about that if there was ever a shooting here, it would be him doing it. They all knew before it even happened. There were so many red flags with this kid, even before. There were so many opportunities to stop him, even before he stepped foot on that campus.
Yeah.
But the police didn't do anything. The school board did nothing. And I know when you're at a school, the administration and the guidance counselors work double time to put things under the rug, to brush things under the rug.
Yeah.
They don't want it on the record. They don't want, because it affects a lot of things with the school, and they don't want people to know or get the reputation. And this is Parkland, which is a very ritzy part of town. It's actually the next city down from us. Very rich people. Dan Marino lives there, for God's sakes. It's rich people, ex-football players, current football players live there. You have mansions, and this is a big school, and a lot of rich people, their kids go to the school, and the school was trying to protect their reputation. But let me tell you something. When I don't know about your school, but my school, high school, the kids that were the most problem were the rich kids. They were the biggest problem.
Yeah.
They had the best drugs, the biggest drinkers, and they were the ones doing all the bullying, and they were the ones that created the biggest problems. But anyway, I don't know if he was a rich kid.
This trial,
the school has problems.
I'm going to be following it, and I hope they convict this guy. And And it's
I
one.
think they'll convict
it's
him on
one in the
something.
news that you want to watch because the defense and everything, all this gun control talk that they've talked about since that shooting is going to fade away.
Who brought these charges up? I mean, this has been a while. When did all this happen? Do you know?
It's been going on for years. Yeah, they've been trying to bring charges against him for like 5 years. They've been putting it off as long as they can because they don't want all this "my brother's keeper" and all this other stuff to come out.
Well, what's interesting too is they've never had a trial with Nicholas Cruz. So the families,
no, they had his trial with that lunatic judge.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I take that back with that judge. That's right.
Yeah, but
resigned.
But that trial was a little different than this one because this trial is going to get into how the system failed and allowed the shooting to happen. Well, listen, we're all out of time for today. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Talk to you next time, guys.
Get the competitive edge with Client Hub X, their online business growth strategy consultation session. Looking to grow your online business? Look no further than their online business growth strategy session. Their team of experts has worked with some of the biggest brands in the world and will be involved in formulating a customized strategy tailored to your unique needs. From avoiding common mistakes and pitfalls to learning from the best, their team is here to guide you every step of the way. Their easy to implement strategies are designed to help you achieve your online business goals quickly and efficiently. Whether you're a startup or an established business, their service is perfect for anyone looking to take their online growth to the next level. Visit macforddigital.co. That's macforddigital.co.